Asian moral understanding. Because culture has major impact on morality, people from different cultures appear to have seemingly but not essential different sets of ethics. This is particularly apparent in ethics of groups of people from the Eastern or Asian culture as compared to those from the Western culture. Asian moral understanding. Alam naman natin na ang kultura ang pinaka-major na malaking impact sa morality. Mayroon tayong pagkakaiba-iba ng kultura at mayroon tayong pagkakaiba-iba ng ethics, but not essential. Ngunit ito ang particular na maliwanag na sa ethics ng mga grupo ng mga tao, magmula sa kultura, sa Eastern or Asian culture, compared sa Western culture. At ayon na dito, may pagkakaiba-iba sa pagitan ng Eastern at Western ethics is the fact that Western ethics is basically about finding the truth, samantalang ang Eastern ethics naman ay patungkol sa protocol at nagpapakita ng paggalang sa bawat isa. At sinasabi rito na ang ethics na sa Asian ay paggawa ng tamang alituntunin ng inaasahan sa isang tao, ng kanyang pamilya, lipunan, at higit sa lahat sa kanyang kultura. On the other hand, Western ethics is claimed to have more of a stress on self and what is rationally or logically true. Moreover, Western ethics is seen to have placed more emphasis on law and justice, while Eastern ethics seems to have that one of must do what is right and expected of him, and the universe or a metaphysically force will take care of the rest.
The second column is basis. In Western ethics, which came from European country, they base on rational thoughts, which means they base on reasons, not on emotion. While in Eastern ethics, which came from our Oriental country, which is Asia, we base on religious teaching because we are more religious compared to Western ethics. The third one is emphasis. In Western ethics, we emphasize logic, cause, and effect because they believe these things can help them finding the truth and justice. And while in Eastern ethics, we emphasize respect towards family. Mas kilala po tayo sa respeto, hindi lang sa pamilya, kundi sa bawat isa.
In the fourth column, in Western ethics, they roots in Athens, Rome, and Judeo-Christianity. It can be traced back to ancient Greeks, the Romans, and Judeo-Christianity. Eastern ethics, they roots in Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, and Taoism. For example, the Buddhism ethics is based on teachings of the Buddha, who stressed the importance of compassion and altruism.
In Western ethics, they approach rational, meaning that it relies on reasons and logic to discern what is right and wrong. In Eastern ethics, ang under nito ay holistic and cultural. Kaya sa Eastern ethics, dito natin pinapahalagahan ang ating kultura simula pa ng unang panahon.
Good must triumph over evil. In terms of conflict and harmony, the Western ethics is the conflict because good must triumph over evil, which means that in Western ethics, good must win more than evil. Good and bad, light and dark, all exist in equilibrium. Harmony in Western ethics is because good and bad, light and dark, all exist in equilibrium, which means they are balanced, they are equal.
Filipino cultural morality, especially that which concerns social ethics, centers on ideally having a smooth interpersonal relationship with others. The definition of smooth interpersonal relationship in Philippine culture is principally supported by and anchored in at least 6 basic Filipino values: the concepts of pakikisama, hiya, amor proprio, utang na loob, Filipino hospitality, and respect for elders. Pakikisama is having and maintaining good public relations. This is usually being practiced to avoid clash with other people or a certain group. It characterizes both a value and a goal that involves keeping good feelings in all personal interactions and getting along with others, oftentimes at all costs. An important part of Philippine culture is pakikisama, which in general means togetherness, camaraderie, or what sociologists call the need for people in the Philippines to maintain smooth interpersonal relations. The prevalence of pakikisama is one of the reasons that the Philippines is seen as such a friendly country. People tend to smile and engage in fun, casual conversation. In the workplace, this can have a positive effect with friendly, helpful employees working together as a team.
Second in our list is hiya. Hiya is described as a feeling of loneliness, shame or embarrassment, and inhibition or shyness which is experienced as somewhat distressing. Integrally, hiya is related to the concept of face or mukha and the concern with how one appears in the eyes of others. This unique Filipino concept, hiya or fear of losing face, ay hindi literal na mawawalan ka ng mukha, kundi mawawalan ka ng mukhang ihaharap sa iba. For example, may utang ka at hindi ka sumunod o hindi ka nakasunod sa napag-usapang petsa ng pagbabayaran. Kumbagay wala ka nang maihaharap na mukha sa tao dahil sa pagbaling mo sa napag-usapan. A person's capacity for proper behavior with authority figure is reflection of his or her family, upbringing and his fear of losing face. Too much hiya, nonetheless, may lead to having inferiority complex and losing self-confidence.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michael Rich A. Gauson, and I'm here to discuss the third basic Filipino values, which is amor proprio. Although commonly translated as self-respect or self-esteem, amor proprio has been characterized as the high degree of sensitivity that makes a person intolerant to criticism and causes him to have an easily wounded pride. Comes from the person's tendency to protect dignity and honor. Because of pride, amor proprio, for instance, a person may refuse offers even if she or he really wants to accept them. Concerning Filipino values, some observe that Filipino learn to withstand a loss of face in some situation, particularly when they perceive themselves to be at fault, but it is devastating to them to be publicly criticized. Sinasabi sa amor proprio, ang Pilipino ay ayaw na pinababa ng ibang tao ang kanilang pride at sensitibo sa panghuhusga ng ibang tao. Kaya't kahit minsan ay kailangan nila ng tulong, tinatanggihan nila ito para lamang sa kanilang dignidad.
Fourth in our list is utang na loob or debt of gratitude. Is likewise a fundamental aspect of upholding group harmony and relationships that demand the balancing of obligations and debts. This involves the concept of reciprocity or returning the received favor. Unlike sa pangkaraniwang utang na pera, utang na loob is more on deeds o mabuting nagawa sa iyo ng isang tao mula sa paghingi mo ng tulong. O kahit hindi mo hiningi, kumbaga kusang binigay sa iyo ng isang tao. The inability to repay the utang na loob is called walang utang na loob or walang hiya. Na kapag hindi mo nasuklian ang binigay sa iyong mabuting gawi ay masasabihan ka ng mga ito. Kung minsan para hindi tayo masabihan ito, for example sa halalan, yung taong meron kang utang na loob is boboto sa isang unworthy candidate. At bilang ikaw, upang makapagtanaw ng utang na loob is boboto mo rin. Lalo kung sinabi niya na, tol, boto mo to, si President ganto. Nilakad naman kita sa 4-piece eh. And that's what utang na loob is.
Filipino hospitality. This is the most common terminology that describes how Filipino welcome foreigners or tourists who visit the country. This trait of the Filipinos towards their visitors and undeniably exceptional. Giving a food and drink is a traditional way of Filipinos to make their visitors feel at home and appreciated for stopping by. Kumain ka muna. Filipino hospitality has no borders or boundaries. What is the different hospitality of Filipinos to others? Guests are made to feel like kings and queens, with hosts always making sure that the guests are comfortable and well-fed. This is the one of good trait of Filipinos.
Respect to elders. We Filipinos are not only respectful to elders, but also have unique ways of expressing this respect to elders. These include the use of po and opo when talking to elders, and pagmamano, or the putting of the elder's hand to one's forehead. Being respected by important people in our lives growing up teaches us how to be respectful toward others. Respect means that you accept somebody for who they are, even when they're different from you or you don't agree with them. Respect in your relationships builds feelings of trust, safety, and well-being. Respect doesn't have to come naturally, it is something you learn.